Ireland, land of poets, land of scholars, and apparently, land of simmering rage. The mid-2020s, what a time. Global tensions were high, you remember. Economic woes hit hard, everywhere. People felt squeezed, angry, lost. They looked for answers, or someone to blame. Ireland was no different. No lucky charm here. The old political parties? Tired. They mumbled the same old lines. Nobody really listened anymore. Not really. A deep frustration grew, like mold, in the damp corners of society. Whispers started, of big changes, of needing a strong hand, a firm voice. Some folks nodded. Too many nodded. The government promised solutions. Of course, more committees, more reports, more tea. But the problems festered, jobs vanished, prices soared, hope dwindled, fast. It was a perfect storm. Brewing, you could smell it in the air, that metallic tang, before the thunder. The old ways were crumbling, quickly now. Discontent found new voices, loud ones, on the internet, on street corners. They promised everything. Simple fixes to complex, messy problems. Always a catch. They pointed fingers east, west, within. Traditional media, called liars, fake news, trust eroded, like a cliff face. Ireland was on edge, about to tip. Enter Malachi O'Malley, Mal to his mates, or those he wanted to think were mates. He wasn't your typical politician. Oh no. He was a former publican, owned a bar, the Fighting Irishman. Subtle, right? He had a booming laugh, a quick wit, and a very, very sharp mind. Hidden behind all that average Joe charm. Mal saw the anger. He felt it. Or so he said, repeatedly, loudly. He spoke their language, the people's language, not the polished tones of Dublin's elite. He talked about pride, about strength, about a pure emerald Ireland. Catchy. He painted himself as an outsider, a savior. The man to clean house, with a stiff brush. His ambition? Big, very big. He didn't just want a seat in the Dale. He wanted the whole damn building, and the country that came with it. He'd seen power vacuums before, in local disputes, in business deals. This was just bigger, much bigger, a national-level power grab. Game on. He started small, community meetings, ranting about foreign influences, about decay. He found an audience, disaffected youth, worried pensioners, the forgotten folks. He promised them glory, a return to a past that never quite existed. But it sounded good after a few pints and with a belly full of fear. Things got ugly, fast. It started with protests, against everything, against the government, against each other. Then came the clashes, police lines broke, stones flew, then petrol bombs, the old wounds of Ireland reopened. But this wasn't North versus South. This was neighbour against neighbour, all over. Mal O'Malley fanned the flames. Cleverly, he blamed traitors, weaklings, saboteurs. His speeches got more fiery, more direct. Ireland for the true Irish, he'd roar, and his followers roared back, louder. They felt seen, they felt powerful. For the first time in a long time, a dangerous, intoxicating feeling for some. A key event, the Cork Uprising. Dock workers clashed with new security forces, hired by international corporations. The government response? Too slow, too weak. Mal's volunteers arrived, uninvited. They restored order, their kind of order, brutal, efficient, and very public. Suddenly, Mal looked decisive, strong. The Civil War didn't have a start date. Not officially, it just became. A creeping, consuming, bloody mess. Towns declared allegiance, or were forced to. Families split, friendships shattered. The green countryside stained red. The laughter died in the streets, replaced by fear and gunfire. Mal O'Malley knew media. Old and new. He used social media like a weapon. Short, sharp messages, full of emotion. Fake accounts spread rumors, sowed chaos. His rallies? Carefully staged events, all flags and fury. And him. Center stage. He was a performer. The role of a lifetime. And he played it to perfection, mostly. He promised stability, in a world of chaos. His chaos, mind you. But still, he said only he could end the fighting. The fighting he helped start. Irony, eh? He offered simple solutions, too simple. One nation, one leader, one future. Sound familiar? History does love a repeat. Especially the bad parts, it seems. He built a network of informants, of loyalists in every town, every village. Fear was his currency, and he spent it well. Don't trust your neighbor, trust Mal. He infiltrated existing groups, unions, clubs, turned them from within. Clever, devious. He painted himself as the inevitable. The only man who could save Ireland. His opponents, weakened, divided. Some underestimated him. Big mistake. Called him a clown, a thug, a nobody. He used their insults as fuel, as proof. Proof that the elite feared him, feared the real people he represented. He was always one step ahead, playing chess while they played checkers. Badly. Section 5. Green shirts, black hearts, the Emerald Guard steps up. Mal needed muscle, not just ideas. So, he formed the Emerald Guard, his personal army. Dressed in dark green, they looked imposing, and they knew it. Initially, they were community defense, protecting neighborhoods from anarchy. But soon, they were the anarchy for anyone who disagreed with Mal. The Guard recruited from the disillusioned, young men with no jobs, no future. Mal gave them purpose, a uniform, power, and a license to intimidate, or worse. They drilled in secret at first, then openly, brazenly, daringly. The official army? Overstretched, demoralized. Often they just looked the other way. They became Mal's fist, his enforcers, breaking up rival meetings, silencing critics. Mysterious disappearances started, unexplained. Journalists who asked too many questions. Community leaders who spoke out, gone. The Emerald Guard left their mark, a chilling message to everyone else. Don't cross Mal O'Malley. Ever. The Guard grew. In numbers, in brutality. They set up roadblocks, checkpoints, demanding papers, loyalty, or else. They were a state within a state, funded by donations often coerced and by seizing assets from enemies. Ireland was fracturing badly now, and the Guard held the sharpest pieces. Section 6. Dublin's darkest hour. When the laughter died, Dublin, the heart of Ireland. It held out the longest, a beacon of defiance of the old ways. But Mal wanted it, needed it, badly. Taking Dublin meant taking Ireland, symbolically. The siege began slowly, then tightened. Food became scarce, medicine scarcer. The city's spirit started to fray. The fighting for Dublin was brutal, vicious, street by street, house by house. The Emerald Guard versus a patchwork defense, citizen militias, army remnants, students, ordinary people fighting for their city, for their freedom, for their lives. The Liffey ran dark, not just with water. Hope was a flickering candle in a gale. Then came the day, May 24th, 2025. A date etched in sorrow. A black day, the final assault, overwhelming force. The defenders fought bravely, hopelessly. By nightfall, green flags flew, O'Malley's flags, over the GPO, over Dublin Castle. A chilling silence fell, broken by sobs. Dublin had fallen, Ireland wept. The impact on the people? Devastating. Families torn apart, homes destroyed, a generation lost or scarred forever. The vibrant city? Now a ghost town, patrolled by grim-faced guards. The pubs were silent, the music gone. Only the whispers of fear remained. This was Mal O'Malley's new Ireland. Section 7. The Man in the Mirror, Mal's inner monologue. It's not pretty. Did Mal O'Malley believe his own hype? Sometimes. Late at night, after a victory, he'd look in the mirror, see a hero, the savior of Ireland, the strong man. But other times, doubt crept in, a cold snake, coiling in his gut. He saw the cost, the blood, the fear. Did the ends truly justify these means? He craved adulation, absolutely. The roar of the crowd. It was a drug, but he also craved control. Total control. He trusted no one. Not really. Not even his closest Emerald Guard commanders. They were tools, useful, for now. But tools can be turned, or broken. He knew that, from experience. The pressure was immense, crushing. To maintain the image, the power. One slip and it could all unravel. He slept little, ate poorly, drank too much. The lines on his face deepened, daily. The jovial publican was long gone, replaced by a tired, paranoid man. A man haunted by his own choices. He'd started with a vision, or so he claimed, a strong, proud Ireland, united, pure. But the reality? Division, fear, ruin. Was this the Ireland he wanted, truly? Or had the pursuit of power corrupted him, changed him into something monstrous? He pushed these thoughts away. Usually. There was no turning back now, only forward. Section 8. Emerald Isle, Iron Rule, not your grandma's Ireland. Life under Mal O'Malley. Let's see. Freedom of speech? Gone, obviously. Speak your mind? Only if it praised Mal. The press? Now the voice of Ireland. Mal's voice. Day in, day out. Education? Rewritten. History reshaped. Children learned of the great leader Mal and his glorious Emerald Revolution. Indoctrination 101. The economy, supposedly booming for some. Mal's cronies got rich, very rich. They seized businesses, awarded contracts to themselves, to their friends. Surprise? Ordinary folks? They got rations, queues, and hollow promises of a brighter future, a future that never seemed to arrive, just more green shirts and more fear. Culture changed drastically. Traditional Irish music? Only approved songs. Books were banned, burned publicly. Art had to be patriotic, uplifting, meaning it had to glorify Mal and the Guard, the vibrant, rebellious Irish spirit, driven underground or crushed completely. A grey conformity settled over the land. Neighbours spied on neighbours for rewards. A careless word could mean a visit from the Emerald Guard. In the night, people learned to keep their heads down, to say nothing, to see nothing. Trust became a forgotten luxury. Ireland, once known for its warmth, its welcome, became a cold, suspicious place. Very sad. Section 9. The hangover waking up from Mal's dream. Dictatorships rarely end well. Spoilers. Mal O'Malley's iron grip started to rust. From within and from without, the initial victories faded. Reality bit. The promised prosperity never materialized, only shortages and more repression. The people were tired, so very tired. Even fear has an expiry date. Eventually, cracks appeared in the Emerald Guard. Rivalries festered. Power corrupts, remember? Some commanders grew too powerful, too ambitious, just like Mal once was. Oh, the irony. Whispers of dissent grew louder, braver. Small acts of defiance, graffiti, secret meetings, the embers of resistance began to glow, slowly at first, then with more heat. The international community finally woke up. Sanctions bit hard, isolation grew. Mal's pure emerald Ireland was alone, and starving and desperate. His grand dream had become a nightmare for everyone, including perhaps himself, though he'd never admit it, publicly. Pride is a powerful, blinding force. The immediate aftermath? Chaos again. But a different kind of chaos, perhaps. The fall of a dictator leaves a vacuum. Old scores were settled, revenge was sought, but also a flicker of hope, a fragile one, the chance to rebuild, to heal, to remember. Ireland faced a long, hard road to find its way back from the darkness.